What if the only way to win isn't by playing harder, fighting back or begging, but by simply walking away, exiting the arena entirely? That's the paradox most men never understand. When she pulls away, gets cold, flaky, hot and cold like a light switch, your instinct is to chase, to fix, to prove yourself. But here's the truth, that's the trap. She wants to trigger your ego and make you emotional, because the more you react, the more power she gains. The second you start asking, why, overthinking every text, stalking her socials, analyzing every little thing, you've already lost. You're no longer in control. You're her puppet. This isn't just about heartbreak. This is about reclaiming your masculine edge. She doesn't regret leaving the man who cried, begged, or over-explained. She regrets the man who didn't flinch. The one who didn't chase, who vanished, went silent, upgraded, and never looked back. That man haunts her, and that's exactly the man we're here to build. This video isn't for the weak-hearted. It's for the man who's been burned, done being a victim, ready to embrace stoicism, dark psychology, and absolute emotional control. You want her to feel the loss? Then stop playing her game. Stop feeding the reaction she's baiting you. 4. Detachment becomes dominance, and that's how you outplay her by no longer needing to win. If you're tired of feeling powerless, begging for clarity, hit like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I don't chase chaos. I become the calm. Now, listen carefully. Stop reacting. Silence is the sharpest sword. When she pulls back, delays, replies, or leaves you on red, every instinct screams to respond, to ask what's wrong, to chase, to explain yourself. But the cold truth is this. The moment you react emotionally, she knows she owns your mind. The moment you try to fix it, she's in control. That's how the game works. She creates confusion, waiting to see how much you'll sacrifice your dignity chasing clarity. But when you say nothing, when you go ghost, move like she's irrelevant, you don't lose respect. You earn it. Silence is dominance. When you say nothing, she's left alone with her thoughts, imagining, doubting, obsessing. Did she go too far? Is he done? Is he with someone better? That storm is inescapable when you leave her in the dark. Most guys overshare, overspeak, explain themselves to women who don't want to listen. That's weakness disguised as vulnerability. But a man in control of his emotions, who doesn't react to every trigger, is rare, dangerous, unforgettable. Silence doesn't mean fear. It means you're above the nonsense, unbothered master of stoic power. Emotions are weapons. Use them wisely or don't use them at all. You want her to feel your value? Don't shout it or prove it. Just disappear and let your absence speak louder than words. The strongest move isn't what you say, but what you don't. Next, she wants you chasing. Don't be her entertainment. Ever notice how she pulls away when you get attached, suddenly becomes busy and distant right after you show interest? That's not a coincidence, that's strategy. She wants to chase the power, not you. You become her emotional amusement park. She pushes a button, you jump. She gives half attention, you double your effort. Every time you respond, you reinforce the game. Attention is a reward, not a right. Every text, every check-in says you haven't figured it out. You still think she's the prize, but you're not her savior, babysitter, or audience. You're the show, and the man who chases loses value, not because he cares less, but because he gives that care to someone who weaponizes it. When you stop chasing, pull your attention back, vanish from her feed and phone, the game stops being fun. She loses control. She's no longer director. You just walked off set and now the silence is deafening. She looks around, realizing the spotlight she lived under was yours all along. This isn't playing hard to get. It's refusing to be baited. It's reclaiming your time, energy, presence. When you stop chasing, she's forced to chase herself. That's when the mirror starts to hurt. She wonders if you ever needed her, or if maybe she was lucky to have your attention in the first place. Finally, attraction isn't given, it's withdrawn. She was all over you at first. Calls, compliments, late-night texts, the fantasy. You thought it was real, so you gave more time, attention, more of yourself. But attraction doesn't die because you gave too little. It dies when you give too much to someone who hasn't earned it. She didn't lose interest because you lacked value. She lost interest because you made her your entire world. That's dependence, not attraction. Attraction thrives in tension, in space, in mystery. But when you overinvest, you kill the polarity. You go from challenge to charity. The moment she feels like she's already won you over, the game is over. Whether she knows it consciously or not, she doesn't want a man desperate to be chosen. She wants a man who chooses himself first. Detachment isn't cruelty, it's clarity. You're not punishing her, you're protecting your value. You're saying, I know what I bring and I'm not going to beg for someone to see it. When you withdraw your energy, not out of spite but out of self-respect, you shift the dynamic instantly. The pedestal collapses. She no longer feels entitled to your attention. No, you're the one she's thinking about, wondering why you stopped showing up, wondering who has your focus. Remember, your attention is currency. Don't hand it out to someone who treats it like spare change. She doesn't need more from you. She needs less access, less validation, less emotional labor. Because when you start giving less, she starts realizing what she's actually missing. Number 4, mystery is power. Be unreadable. She can't stop thinking about the man she can't figure out, the one who doesn't explain himself, who doesn't overshare, who leaves gaps she has to fill with her own imagination. You want to drive her crazy. Don't tell her how you feel. Don't post your every move. Don't announce your silence. Live quietly, calmly, strategically, and let her obsess over what she doesn't know. Here's the trap most guys fall into. They think being transparent means strength, but overexposure kills attraction. When she knows your every thought, plan, and weakness, there's no mystery left. No mystery means no tension. No tension means no pull. She's already mapped you out, and that makes you boring. But when you become unreadable, when your moves stop matching her expectations, when she can't tell if you're unbothered or just focused on your purpose, you become the one with gravity. The one she checks on without showing it, because mystery forces her to imagine. And imagination is always more powerful than information. The stoic man doesn't need to prove who he is. He shows it through presence, discipline, and control. He's not a ghost, but he's not predictable either. He appears with intention and disappears without explanation. That's how you stay in her head. Not by flooding her inbox, but by letting your silence, restraint, and unpredictability burn in her mind longer than any long-winded text ever could. Number 5, kill the fantasy. See her without illusion. She wasn't an angel, your soulmate, or different. That was your mind filling in the blanks, projecting what you wanted her to be onto who she really was. That's how heartbreak hooks you. Not because of who she is, but because of who you imagined she could be. The version you loved. Her half fantasy. And that fantasy is what keeps men stuck, not the person, the illusion. Here's the cold truth. She played games, pulled you in, then pulled away, gave you breadcrumbs and watched you starve. That's not love. That's manipulation. But your mind keeps looping the highlight reel, the intense moments, affection, sparks. You're addicted to the feeling, not the reality. Until you break the illusion, you stay her prisoner. Stoicism demands brutal honesty. You must train yourself to see people as they are, not as you wish them to be. When you remove the pedestal and stop romanticizing the chaos, everything becomes clear. She wasn't consistent. She wasn't committed. She wanted attention, not connection. And once you see that plainly, there's no more pain, only understanding. You don't heal by rewriting the story. You heal by confronting it and calling it what it was. When you strip away the fantasy, her power vanishes with it. She stops being some goddess who slipped through your fingers and becomes just another person who didn't deserve your energy. Number 6, reverse the roles. Make her earn you. You've been the one proving yourself, texting first, planning dates, showing up with effort while she shows up with attitude. You've been auditioning for a role in a movie she's barely even filming. But that ends now. The dynamic flips the second you stop trying to win her and make her earn you. You are not a backup plan, not an option, not some side character in her story. You are the prize. The man who knows his worth doesn't chase approval. He sets the standard. Anyone who doesn't rise to meet it gets left behind. No drama, no explanations. When you flip the script, you shift the energy. She starts to notice the distance, wonders why you're no longer trying so hard. That confusion becomes curiosity. Curiosity turns into pursuit. Now she's texting first, wondering what you're doing, who you're with, why you stopped orbiting her world. The game she played, you just rewrote the rules. But here's the key, don't fake it, don't play cold to manipulate. Become indifferent because you've seen the truth. You don't just act like you're the prize, you become it. Improve your body, build your focus, tighten your circle, elevate your lifestyle. Become so solid in who you are that begging for attention feels beneath you, because it is. The man who walks in purpose doesn't chase people. He attracts them. He lives by standards, not feelings. If she doesn't meet those standards, that's her loss, not yours. Number 7, scarcity wins. Be less available. You were too accessible, too ready, too easy to reach. Every time she called, you picked up. Every time she went cold, you stayed warm. That energy doesn't build attraction, it destroys it. Why? Because what's always available loses value, and what's rare gets chased. Scarcity is power. The less of you she gets, the more she wants. When you stop being her emotional safety net, when you stop waiting around for breadcrumbs, you force her to face the silence. And in that space, something shifts. She starts checking her phone more. She notices your absence. She remembers how good it felt to have your energy and how empty it feels now that it's gone. Here's what most guys get wrong. They think being consistent means being constantly available. But those aren't the same thing. Consistency is about integrity. Availability is about access. When she starts taking that access for granted, you must pull it back. No warnings, no speeches, just space. Space that makes her feel your absence, more than your presence ever could. Your time is your currency. If you hand it out freely, it becomes worthless. But when you protect it, guard it, and give it only to those who earn it, you become a high-value man. The high-value man doesn't need to say much. His absence screams everything. So stop showing up for someone who's unsure about you. Let your silence become a mirror. Let her feel what life is like without you constantly filling the gaps. When she realizes you're no longer orbiting her world, she'll start rotating around yours. Number 8, upgrade in silence. Become the man she can't reach. The greatest revenge isn't rage, it's reinvention. Not loud, not dramatic, just quiet progress executed in the shadows and felt in her gut. While she's out chasing attention, you're in the gym. While she's playing games, you're stacking discipline. While she's entertaining distractions, you're building a life that doesn't include her. That's how you win, not by proving her wrong, but by becoming the version of yourself she'll never get access to again. She expected you to fall apart, to send those needy texts, to break down. That's how the game usually plays out. But when you vanish and come back stronger, colder, sharper, unreachable, you flip the script. Now she's stalking your page, wondering who you've become. The man she thought she had figured out is gone, replaced by someone she never saw coming. Stoic detachment means emotional mastery. You don't announce your glow-up. You don't flaunt your progress. You let your results speak in silence. New body, new habits, new purpose, new peace. And none of it is for her, it's all for you. This isn't about making her jealous. It's about making yourself unstoppable. Women remember the man who broke, but they regret the man who transformed without looking back. When you become that man, when your name starts echoing in rooms she's not invited to, that's the moment she realizes what she lost wasn't just attention. It was greatness in the making. Number 9, no closure needed. You are the closure. She left you hanging. No explanation, no goodbye, just silence. And now you're stuck rereading old messages, looking for clues, hoping for that one text to bring it all full circle. But here's the truth most men refuse to face. You don't need closure from her. You are the closure. Waiting for her to explain why she treated you like you didn't matter is a waste of power. The act itself was the explanation. Her silence was the message. Closure is often a last-ditch effort to feel in control. But Stoicism teaches this. The only thing in your control is your response, not her honesty, apology, or accountability. So you don't chase answers. You create peace. You decide the story ends when you say it does. When you stop needing her words to validate your worth, you free yourself from her grip completely. Most women don't give closure because they want to leave the door cracked. So if she ever wants to wander back in, she can. But when you stop standing at the door, stop checking for her shadow, you take away her comfort. You remove the option. Suddenly, the power shifts. The strongest men don't burn bridges. They just never cross them again. You want closure? Look in the mirror. Remind yourself who you are. Remind yourself she lost you, not the other way around. You don't wait for the ending. You become the ending. Number 10, the final power move, indifference over revenge. You might think she deserves to feel what you felt, to know the pain she caused, to suffer like you did. That's natural. But revenge, that's still a reaction. It's still emotion. And the moment you make it about her again, she wins. The most devastating move isn't revenge. It's indifference. Not caring if she regrets it or not. Not watching her stories to see if she's hurting. Living like she never mattered enough to break you. Indifference isn't bitterness, it's freedom. It means you've healed to the point where her existence doesn't move you, not in love, hate, or curiosity. She becomes background noise in a world now centered on your purpose. She wanted you obsessed. She wanted you angry. She wanted you stuck in emotional chaos, but you gave her silence. You gave her detachment, and that hits harder than anything you could say. When a woman realizes she no longer has emotional access to you, she starts to spiral because attention is her fuel. Your indifference, that's a blackout. She'll post, text, test you to see if you'll crack. When you don't, when you remain unshaken, unreadable, unbothered, you become unforgettable. You weren't just a chapter, you were the lesson. This is the end game. Not becoming colder to punish her, but becoming stronger to protect yourself. You don't want her back. You don't want closure. You don't want revenge. You want peace. And that is the most haunting thing you can give someone who played games with your heart. You've heard it all now. The silence, the distance, the detachment, the shift. You came in heartbroken, confused, maybe angry. But now you know the truth. You don't win by playing harder. You win by walking away stronger. That's the Stoic path. You don't react. You don't chase. You don't seek validation. You build. You evolve. You become the man she never thought you'd become. The man who no longer needs her, thinks about her, or gives her a second of emotional real estate. This isn't about hurting her. It's about honoring you. Because the moment you stopped making her the center of your universe, you started becoming the man you were always meant to be. Calm, focused, unshakable. That's real power. That's what makes her look back and realize she fumbled something. Rare. But by then, you've already moved on. Quietly, confidently, unapologetically, don't go backward. Don't reopen doors closed for a reason. You've leveled up now. Walk like it, speak like it, live like it. Be the storm she never saw coming and the peace she can never disturb again. If this hit you deep, if you're ready to move different, from this moment forward, smash that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I rise, I rebuild, I release. This is Stoic Blessing. I'll see you in the next one. Stay sharp, stay silent, stay sovereign.